Hey, this is OXDF, and today we're looking at Advent of Code 2022, Day 5, Supply Stacks. I already, I already recorded this whole video, but I forgot to hit record. So we're doing it again, and I've deleted all of everything, and I'll probably make the same mistakes along the way. So let's go ahead and take a look. Basically, all this text is going to say we're going to get input that looks like this. And there's sort of two sections divided by a blank line. The top section is going to be a picture that kind of shows crates sitting in piles numbered 1, 2, 3, etc. So the bottom bit is one per line is instructions in order for how we're going to move the crates. So this says move one crate from column 2 to column 1. So we'll take the D off the top and we'll move it over here on top of N. Move 3 from 1 to 3. So we'll take the D off the top and put it on top of the P. We'll take the N and put it on top of the D. And we'll take the Z and put it on top of the N. Now we'll note in part 1 here, we're moving crates one at a time. So even if it says move 3 of them, we're still going to move them 1, 2, 3. We don't pick them all up at once. And that's basically it down here. They basically then at the end they're going to say, okay, in your final configuration, give us the string across the top. So in this case, CMZ. And again, because I already solved this the first time I didn't record, I've got the answer here. So let's jump over here and we will genday ourselves at day 5, and we can take a look at our puzzle input real quick. So we got 9 stacks instead of 3, and then a few hundred, maybe 500 lines of moves. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and grab this while we have it, and let's go over here to there. There's really gonna be 2 parts to this challenge, I guess 3 parts. Part 1 is we got to parse this input into some structure we can use. Part 2 is going to be execute all the moves following the instructions in order. And then the third part is going to be whatever part 2 tells us to do. So anytime I have to do things that are set up by like split into different parts, I'm just going to read on my input and get the raw input this way. And then I can do like crate, raw, and inst equals lines dot. First, let's make sure we get rid of any trailing new lines. So we'll do a r strip. One mistake I made the first time that I'm not going to make this time is I actually just called strip here, and what that did was it removed all this leading white space, and so everything was parsing correctly except for my H was like over here in column 1, and my W was over here, and it took me way too long to figure out. So if I R strip, it's just going to remove white space from the right side of the string, which is what I want. So dot split, and now we'll just do it on double new line. And so now I've got 2 big bunches of text, crates, raw, and instructions. So we can start off by, let's parse the crates. So we'll put this here. We will comment this in. So I think it's like that. Yeah. And now we're going to need to parse this, right? So we will do, we'll get something called crates. And equals, and what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to use from collections import default dict. I love default dict. It gives me a dictionary with a default value, so I can say default dict of lists. And what this lets me do is it lets me say like crates sub oxdf dot append 1. And so because this is a list, even though crates OXDF doesn't exist yet, it's just going to say, oh, well, then we'll treat it as an empty list and append 1 to it. But now if I append something else to it, that list already, just treat it as a list. So that's a really nice feature to be able to use here. Okay, so we'll say for crate instruction, CI in crates raw dot split. So you know, like that. So for each line, what are we going to do? What we really need to do is we're going to say, we're going to step through these crates and we're going to add them to the thing. Now, I actually want I want like T to be the first thing in my crate or my stack, and P to be the last, so I can work off the bottom. So I'm going to do a couple things here. First, I'm going to say like this, because what that's basically doing is saying, don't give me this last row. I don't need the row of numbers. Now, I'm going to take the rows in reverse order. So now that resulting thing, I'm going to start with the bottom and work up. And we can print CI. We can come down here and run Python day05 input.text is day 5, not day 05. day5.py. There we go. And we can see now we're printing the TL0 row first all the way down to this H row. So that looks good. So now what are we going to do with each row? I'm going to try to step through it. And what we'll notice is, from here, if I want to get this P, it is the first, in the, the 0th character is the open bracket, then the P is 1. This close is 2, space is 3, 4, this is J is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, empty 13. And we can notice a pattern here that the offset in this row is column number. So we want 1 to be 1, 2 to be 5. So it's column number times 4 minus 3. So what we can do is we can say for I, we'll say I equals 1. There's probably a way to do this as a for loop as well, but I'm just going to do it as a while loop. So we can say while I is less than len ci, because we don't want to get outside of our bounds. We'll say if, we'll say, so what we don't want to do is do anything. If it's a blank space, we don't want to do anything. So we'll say if ci sub I is not equal to space, we're going to say crates are all crates sub, and now we need to figure out what that's going to be. We'll come back to it in a second. Dot append, and now we can do ci of I. So we're going to loop over these things. Oh, and then let's see, come down here and we'll say I plus equals 4. So we're going to start with I equals 1. That's this column. As long as it's not in a space, we're going to add it to we have to figure out which crate. Then we're going to move forward. So which crate is it? We talked about that. If I is equal to 3, that means, if I is equal to 1, that's 5, that's 9. We want to get that back to be a 3. So we'll do divided by, we'll subtract 3. Is that what we said? Do a little chart here just to be sure. I row. So if I is equal to 1, row is equal to 1. If I is equal to 2, sorry, not 2, I would now go 5, row is equal to 2. I is 9, row would be 3. So if we want to get from I, we're definitely going to be dividing by 4. And so we just need to subtract 1 and then add 3 and divide by 4. Does that look right? So if we add 3, it becomes 12, divide by 4. Add 3 becomes 8, divide by 4 is 2. Yeah, so that's all right. We're going to do I plus 3 divided by 4. And so now we should have our crates. And we can do a print crates and take a look at that and run it. And so we can see our first crate is going to be, let's go up here, TDWZVP. That looks right. Let's take one more. 6 is going to be QWVHZR. QWVHZR GB. Perfect. Okay, so our crates look good now. Get rid of that. So now we need to run the instructions, right? So we'll do for inst in inst dot split. We haven't split those yet. And so now we want to let's grab one instruction here so we can play with it. This like here. What an instruction looks like. So we will say, we're going to say inst.split like that. And we can say, the first one's going to be move. Then we're going to have our num. Then we'll have from. Then we'll have start. Then we'll have to. And then we'll have stop. And I'm just using, in Python, it's kind of common to use the underscore variable to just store things you don't care about. So we're just throwing those away effectively. So now we need to do for I in range int num. So basically we're going to do num times. We will do crates start pop, and that will get the top one off. It'll remove that one and return it. And so we can say crates stop dot append. And so that will remove, in this case, let's say we pop something. Let's say start was 1 and end was 2. So we would grab this P right here, would pop off, would remove from 1, and then it would get appended to 2. And so if we do that, we could try something. I don't know if this would be useful or not. This might be a mess, but we'll try it just to demonstrate and see if it's working. We can do num, start, stop, and then crates. And now if we run this, it's probably gonna print a lot of stuff. Whoa, didn't like this at all. Pop from empty list. Okay, so we've got something going wrong here because we shouldn't have an empty list. Oh, well, for one, okay, probably should just do, here, we're gonna do num start stop equals, there's probably a better way to do this, but int num, int start, int stop. I can get rid of that. Try that again. Perfect. Okay. So, and we can see here, let's just look at this very last line. Where is it? Maybe I should put an extra new line in here or something. Let's try that. So this is where we were. And then we are going to move 6 from 7 to 5. So 7 is num start stop. Oh, I put this in the wrong. Let's not put this in the loop. That feels like a mess. Let's put this here. I was in the loop, it was printing. That's like, why am I seeing 765 over and over again? That's why. Let's run this. Okay, so here is where we were at the end of the last one. And 7 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in there. And we're going to move 6 over. And so that's going to be V is going to go from 7 to 4. So 4 used to end with a G. And it still ends with a G. But 7 doesn't. Oh, because we're moving to 5. 6 from 7 to 5. Let's move up 1. Oh, okay, so we have 7 ends in V. And after that, we're going to move the VG is all going to go to 5. So V, C, B, Z, G, B. So that's these exact same ones going backwards, and they are no longer on 7. So it is, I think this is working, in conclusion. I'm not sure this was the most helpful demonstration, but so now we just come down here and we'll say part 1 equals. Now we're going to do, let's do a list comprehension, or we can even do it as a generator, because we're going to join it. We're going to do or empty string dot join around this list comprehension. And what the list comprehension is going to be? Well, we're going to do C for C in crates dot values. So that'll return all the individual dictionaries. And now for this, we just want to get the last one. So do that. And I believe that will solve it for us. And we got TLF GBZ HCN. TLF GBZ HCN. Beautiful. Part 2 is going to be the exact same thing, except for now, when we say move 3, we're just going to pick up 3 and move them all over. So we're not going to, here's the example where we move 3 from 1 to 3, it picks up DNZ, stays DNZ. So how are we going to change that? Let's see. We're going to come up here. Let's start. First thing we want to do is come here and we will make crates 2 equals default dict list. And I guess we'll just we could do like a copy, but I'm just going to go ahead and cheat a little bit and make myself a crates 2 right here at the same time. And now we're going to be looping through our list of instructions. And this time, instead of doing a for loop here, we just want to move them all at once. And so we'll say crates 2 sub stop dot. And now this time we're going to use extend. Append adds whatever you give it to as the next item in the list, or the last item in the list. Extend, if you give it another 2 lists, it's going to just combine them and put them together. So we're going to extend stop this time, and we're going to extend it with crates 2. And this time we will say which ones we want to do. Well, we want to do the ones that go from negative num to the end. So like if num is 3, we're going to go from -3 to the end. We're going to get the last 3. And then we got to come here and we got to do crates 2 of start. And we need to just set that equals to creates to start, and we're going to chop off. So we're going to go all the way up through num, minus num right there. So effectively, we're going to do two steps. We're going to extend crates2 by the end of crates2 stop by the ends of crate. Oh, we gotta do crates2 start by the num, and then we're going to just chop those same ones off of the end. And if we did that right, we can go ahead and put this here, make this part 2, crates2 in there, and put part 2 there. And if we run this, we get QRQFHF. See if that looks compared to what we're expecting. QRQFHFWCL. So it looks like we got it right. Cool. This was starting to get much more challenging given the other days, but still not too bad. Just text parsing and moving around. So it was a fun one. I got to do it twice. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.